signal now for when I'm needed. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning to them.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the Gotham Chronicles Beyond the Bat Signal. I'm your host, Dominic Unica. Join me as we dive into the depths of Batman's lore, dissecting the Rogues Gallery, and uncovering the stories of our iconic vigilante known as the Dark Knight. Today, we have a returning guest, a very special guest who runs his own little book club. And I'm not talking about any book club. I am talking about the Batman Book Club, a podcast. And he's also a senior contributor on batman-on-film.com. I will never forget the dashes. Thank you, Pete Vera. And I'm talking about none other than the head librarian, Mr. Ryan Lauer. Ryan, welcome back. My man.
Thank you, sir. My man.
My man.
It's
Oh,
really, yeah, really funny that you say that, the my man, because it was a thing of because Jason Momoa, of course, nailed it with it, my man. Um, that I'd totally forgotten that actually, a year prior was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Out of the Shadows, in which Bebop and Rocksteady were in it, and they were Bebop and Rocksteady were constantly my man, and I was saying that not like ad nauseum, annoying my fiance, I'm sure, constantly just saying my man, and then I took a gap, and then Aquaman took over it, and so then when you emailed me and you said that my man and whatever, and I was like, actually, I'm trying to remind myself that I was saying it like Bebop and Rocksteady, but it's all good.
so you said look it up, and I'm like, I've seen the movie, like I know the
Yeah,
movie, so I quickly search. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, so it's like where the big high five is. But
yeah,
I'm like, okay, now this is on a watch list to rewatch again. 'Cause it was
yeah.
good. Like it wasn't great, but it was like a good popcorn
Sure.
film.
I
I like
totally agree. Like it was fun.
it.
Like in the end, it was fun. They threw everything at that one. They had the Technodrome, they had Krang, they had Bebop and Rocksteady, they had Casey Jones. It was just like, sure, why not?
Yeah, yeah, take it.
Bring them all in.
So today's topic,
Mhm.
for me, this is like choosing my favorite child.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. But today we're going to be talking about ranking the four main Arkham video games. Now, it's my understanding that based on your a couple of episodes, I'm not sure if it was on Batman BC or Batman on Film, where you actually just got it even for Switch. Did you not?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They did the three of the four because three of them are Rocksteady. They did the three Rocksteady games on a Switch, like on condensed or whatever on a Switch. And I'm not a gaming like what do you want to say, like expert, so it's like I know if it looks good and if it's kind of like lagged or something, but that's about it as far as like chips and all that. I'm like, oh, I don't know any of that stuff. And I've actually only played Arkham Asylum on it, and I thought that one was pretty good. It looks, I mean, I know you're taking a game from 2009 and playing it in 2024, but like I think it looks how I play the game. It looks completely fine. And I'd heard that Arkham City is the is even better. And then I've heard everyone say don't play Arkham Knight because it does not, like, the Switch cannot hold like the basically like the bandwidth that Knight requires. So
Oh man. Yeah, I heard it was more issues with the Batmobile,
yeah, yeah,
right?
me too. Yeah, it's
So
like it's unplayable.
yeah, so it's funny because I've just been replaying all three. Now I'm on night, and I'm at the
Hmm.
point where I'm at the end collecting Riddler trophies.
Yeah,
And man, graphically, I think all three hold up. Like
yeah.
I'm playing it on my PlayStation, so. But before we begin, I was going to ask,
Yeah.
what game did you start with when you first played the Arkham series games? Like, which one was
Hmm.
like this is the first game I played?
Oh, it was Asylum.
Asylum. So you go way back to 2009.
Yep. Because I was so stoked because I can't remember prior to that the last Batman video game. Um, and my roommate had an Xbox 360, and Arkham Asylum was coming out on the 360. So that was where there were movie stores and game stores. So I just went and rented the game rather than buy it because it didn't make sense to buy it when I didn't have a system and I didn't want to buy a game for a system that wasn't mine. So I just rented it and I beat it in I can't even tell you how long it took to. It had to be like a week because I rented it for so many days and whatnot. But that's me rambling. Arkham Asylum. Just keep it short and sweet. Arkham Asylum, Dominic.
No, but I love the explanation. Like for me, my first enter, you could probably hear Harley in the background, not named after
Yeah,
Harley Quinn. Sorry. So mine was, I remember Xbox 360, and I was like, I played this demo, and then I saw the trailer too. I was like, what the heck is this game? But anyway, the demo is what hooked me. I'm like, this game is going to
yeah,
be nuts.
yep, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, so I guess we're gonna, go right into it. I think, listen, there's no criteria as to like what makes number four versus number one the greatest game. I feel like, you know, it's personal preference, right? In
Hmm.
the end of the
Sure,
day. So do you want to start off at number four and then work our way up to number one?
sure. Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good to me.
All right.
That's the way. That's the way to get the audience invested, right? They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, what's number one? Hang in there.
Let's hook
Let's
them
tease them a little
in.
bit."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen, I think mine might be controversial. But I
Okay.
do. I was walking the dog today and flip
Hmm.
flopping as the walk was going on, and I think I
Yeah.
finalized it at this point in time.
Okay.
Let's see.
And between now when we're recording and when you release it, you'll be like, "Ah, I need to
What an
switch."
idiot! You big dummy. Do you want to start things off?
It's your show. I followed the leader.
Okay, man. So give the audience what they
Number
want.
four,
What is your number
uh,
four?
easiest, and I've actually thought of these rankings for the main, like you said, like the main Arkham games. I've thought of this before, and one, two, and three is difficult. Four, I know is four. Uh, Like it doesn't take me, it's snap of a finger, and I know. And number four is Arkham Knight. Now, love Arkham Knight. I love all four of the Arkham games. Love all four of them, and it can almost sometimes be a little um tough to rank because you, especially when it comes to video games, of you have a game, the first one 2009, Arkham Knight 2015. So you have 6 years of, technology is always pushing to improve. Graphics are always pushing to improve. So based just like on graphics alone and stuff like that, like I feel like it's not fair just because something's the newest to automatically make that better than the first one that came out. But Arkham Knight, I remember I loved Arkham Knight. I got a PlayStation 4 because of Arkham Knight, and that was a surprise from my lady. Um, Totally floored me getting it for me too. And I can say the only bugaboo I have with Arkham Knight, which is like why it might push it as number four, is as much as I love the Batmobile, I get a little tiresome driving the Batmobile like 10 minutes in one way to do something quick, and then you have to go 5 minutes another way, and then you do something, and then it's driving, and then it's drive. Like it starts to get, and then I can understand where they incorporate it, and they're probably like, everybody's saying they want to drive the Batmobile. Well, we gave you the Batmobile, and now you're like, it's too much Batmobile. And I'm like, if we're nitpicking, if I'm justifying why it's in fourth, I think that's why for me. And I
Um,
never finished. That's the only game I never finished the Riddler trophies.
oh man, that's what I'm
The
trying to
only one.
finish. It is
That's
hard.
tough.
You know how many
It's
there
so
are?
tough. No,
243. That is a
goodness
mission impossible. Never
I
mind.
even I even got the book, with it to assist me. Not that like for I'm stubborn enough. I want to accomplish it myself. But then if I
Hmm.
am really too hung up on something, then it's okay. Look this up. And with the Riddler trophies, I use the book, and I still can't do it. So I'm just
Oh
like, screw this. I put way too much time into this, and I just went to YouTube to see how it finished.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know. I went on YouTube to watch it. Same thing, but I'm still like
Hmm.
adamant about finishing it at this point in time. Many years
Yeah,
later, when it came
to be
out,
a
2015.
completist. Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Arkham Knight is number 4, and they're all good games. The story's
Hmm.
amazing. Even like the little, like how they listen. I know everyone complains that there's too much Joker, but how they incorporated Joker and the hallucinations, even how the game starts, where
Awesome.
you're just kind of burning Joker, like what the f, what's going on?
Yeah.
But the whole storyline around um, Jonathan Crane and Scarecrow, I freaking
One of
loved.
my favorite villains. I
Oh
love his
yeah,
aesthetic too. So yeah,
so good.
that's a big perk for me.
You
Can I ask you?
yes,
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
no,
I remember when I was at work that I just started playing the game, and a guy had told me he'd gotten like almost beat it already, and he asked me where I was at, and he said, "Have you seen Man Bat?"
yes.
And I go, "No, not
Oh,
yet."
so
Or
good.
no, that's what he asked me, and I go, "No, not yet." And he goes, "Whenever you get to the Man Bat part, just let me know." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah,
Scared the hell out of me when it
yeah.
happened.
So good. I remember them
Uh-huh.
saying something about it was on Halloween night. Like if you change the date to like October 31st, then you'll for
Yeah.
sure run into it. So I changed it
Yeah.
and boom, it's a jump scare.
Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like think I was on
I
the
I bought
couch.
gaming headphones for that for Arkham Knight as well. It's the first time I'd ever done that, and so I just had the volume blast in. I'm totally watched and invested. And yeah, when Man Bat showed up. Ah!
It was so good though, like
Yeah.
clever. Like like that was one game where they threw everything at it. I
Hmm.
thought even the Batmobiles, even like the extra, like the different types of Batmobiles, like they included the Tumbler, the
Yeah.
'89 Batmobile. I mean, but you can't really. I don't think you can shoot guns with the '89 Batmobile. Pretty sure.
I don't think so either. I loved those updates on that too. I bought every
So
whatever the
good.
expansion pack stuff was because I loved the racing, the Batmobiles,
Yeah.
the different bat suits and everything. I thought that was a blast and great idea on their part of doing those expansions.
Even the challenge maps with the '89 Batmobile. Like I remember the
Mhm. Yep.
balloons.
Yeah.
Ah,
The
oh man,
balloons.
the balloon. Oh man, it was so good.
Let's
It's so
throw my
creative.
balloons.
But like I
Uh-huh.
even loved like the Easter eggs that they incorporated. Like there's times where like you could tell like Batman's kind of hallucinating or like he's under that fear toxin. He's seeing
Yeah.
like a normal poster. He turns around and then he sees Joker's face. Ah,
Oh my gosh, that was another
yeah.
thing I was going to mention after the Man Bat part. Like that, because that sometimes silent scares are like the most impactful too. Like Man Bats was like right there,
Oh yeah.
Joker's was it's just so quiet, and you're just turning, and it's just dark, and it's silent, and you turn around, and there's just something right in your face. That was almost just as effective. It's like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
oh my gosh, this game's terrifying.
Oh
Love it.
man, it was. And then I remember like even little aspects of with the game being so good, like the traversals were really good. The graphics were still to this day they're nuts. The
Hmm.
bat suits. My nitpick was for me, like, yeah, you're right. Like the Batmobile was a nitpick. For me, it was too much Batmobile, but like even how they incorporated like Jason Todd as like Arkham Knight, it was
Hmm.
just too obvious. And I just wish he wasn't called Arkham Knight. I don't know. For me, I
Sure.
thought the villain was a little lackluster, a little weak for me
I have,
personally in terms of like his point of
yeah.
view. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just wasn't as excited
I'm
for.
with you. I thought it was very obvious of
Hmm.
kind of like if you watch I didn't watch Batman under the I always mix it. It's the animated movie was Under the Hood or Under the Red Hood. But watching that movie, it's so obvious that it is Jason.
Oh yeah,
Um and I felt the same way with Arkham Knight of like it's so obvious that this is Jason. And I didn't know spoilers or anything from the internet. It just seemed so obvious. But to the credit, I loved the look of
yeah.
Arkham Knight. I got McFarlane did that figure, and I got that figure too because I was just like
Oh man,
I
you
I
did.
love the aesthetic of it. I think it looks great.
I feel like in the states, you guys have such a wide array of access to these McFarlanes, whereas like here in Canada, like we have Walmart, we have GameStop that sells them, but like even I don't. You guys have Target, like Target specials too,
Yeah,
right? Whereas
yeah.
Canada, eh. I'm trying to look up that
No,
movie, animated movie, animated movie.
GameStop usually does. GameStop usually does pretty well of being ones that have everything in stock, but then for
Yeah.
whatever reason, like McFarlane started to do store exclusive, so it is like a Target exclusive and a Walmart exclusive and stuff. It's like,
Yeah. I know. It was Under the Red Hood, the animated movie.
okay,
It was good.
all right,
That's like
yeah, I
top
love
2.
that one. That's a
So
good
good.
one. I need
Uh,
to like remember this. It's Under the Red Hood is the movie.
Listen, was it Paul Herman that was on your show? Sorry, I know I'm getting off topic, but I'm pretty sure it's Paul
Yes.
Herman that was such a good episode that you guys were talking about. I know you're going back and forth between the comic and the movie, going back and
Yeah.
forth, and like how much love he had for that book. I
Hmm.
think both of you guys actually loved it. Am I right?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
my memory serves me right. But
Yeah. He almost loves it as much as the Long Halloween.
yeah.
Oh wait, no, that's me.
I was like, yeah, but I'm like, no, nothing's better than Long Halloween.
Nothing. Nothing.
Did, except for Bill loves Hush. According to Pete.
Yeah, that's his
Pete
favorite.
says if Pete says it's got to be true.
Yeah.
Uh, do you want to do number 3?
Let's go to number three because now
Batter
this is
up,
where I start getting sweaty because it's tough.
knees weak, arms are heavy.
Yeah, thank you, Eminem. Um, my number three is Arkham Asylum, which
Ooh,
is crazy because that is the one that I've played the most. I think it is the most playable, if that's a technical, like if that's a usable phrase. Like you can, it's so easy to revisit that one
oh yeah.
as well. Um, but there no buts because I don't want stuff to be like here's negatives about it. The other two, I think overall game I do like them maybe more. Ugh, it's tough, Dominic. I don't know. Like Asylum, I just have to rank them. Somebody's got to come in third, and it's Asylum.
Today it's a sound. Tomorrow might not be. It's hard, man. Like
Uh-huh.
that. This is where because I was flipping between that one and another because I'm like it could be number 1. Like I think about what went into it, like even like nostalgic reasons going back to that point in time and what blew me away.
Hmm.
Like Asylum is not my number 3, but it's hard because like then it's like there's story, right?
Hmm.
Like which one has a better story, right? So then you kind of factor that in, and it's like sometimes it's gameplay. Don't know, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, but it looks so good. My number 3 is going to be, and this is where it gets criminal. Arkham City. I
Ooh,
know,
doggy.
but like
Okay.
I think that the story is like I think I like the story more than Asylum, and I think obviously the way it moves graphically, everything like that, is better. This is hard. I think I'm gonna keep it at number 3, but like this is difficult. I just think that
Yeah.
even like the boss fights were good. Um, the story kind of like that ending did not expect it, where Batman's walking out with Joker, like just my jaw dropped. I was in complete shock.
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't know, man. I don't know what it was. It's not that I didn't like it. I actually loved this game. Like the way the
Hmm.
gameplay was. I think that the Easter eggs was one big thing that I appreciated in Asylum, where it's like for me, because I'm not a hardcore gamer by any means, but I love playing the
Yeah.
Arkham games.
Hmm.
I just remember, like, I think nostalgic reasons have a factor in all this, where I
Uh-huh.
was completely blown away by Asylum, and
Hmm.
for City, it was just in terms of story that much a little bit better, but in also gameplay just a little bit better. But when it comes to just overall, like, what would I pick up and play again over and over? I think it would probably be Asylum over City, but and also the ambiance. I don't know. I think I'm gonna stay City number 3.
I thought you were
And
going to talk yourself into
I
like,
know I was kind of
never
talking
mind, I'm
myself because
switching.
I might switch. I'm like, I don't
And now
know
I'm switching.
because yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna reserve what I have to say. Um, but
So like,
yeah,
I'm withholding my thoughts on Arkham City until I reveal my placement.
like even but that said, like City has such good Easter eggs too. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And like they kind
Hmm.
of delve into the story, and that's the thing with Rocksteady, like the way that they kind of built this story and the lore about all the whole franchise was brilliant in my opinion. Um, like they do give some backstory, and like there's also like some um theories going on, like, did Joker know, or did fans know all along that Jason Todd was dead? And I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick to Arkham City being number three. However, there were some cool things that they did include, like the bat suits were great that they included. Like that was something new in comparison to Asylum that we did not get to experience. And then, like, that relationship between Batman and Joker, Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill going back and forth was just epic again.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I know. I know. I'm going to stick to it. That's my number three.
Okay. All right. Your final answer.
Final
Number three.
answer. Push the button. Ah, man. I should point out, I know I told Ryan beforehand, I'm not going to dish too much, but I have been playing Batman Arkham Shadow. I'm not including it as part of this list, but I am currently playing it. I just don't think, because we both haven't fully played it, it's just not going to be part of this list. But I will say
Yeah,
it's
and and
awesome.
and I get that. There's also, it's like there's a an Arkham game that was on the Nintendo 3DS. There's another Arkham something, and I'm just like, I
Blackgate?
just feel like, yeah, Blackgate.
Blackgate, I'm pretty
Um,
sure.
but I just feel, and there would be somebody who'd be like, "Oh, Ryan, what are you talking about?" I just feel when it comes to the Arkham games, these four are they are the pillars.
Yeah.
They are the Arkham games, and then
Yeah.
there's almost like sub games,
Mhm.
because even Blackgate was like Arkham Origins Blackgate or something
Mhm.
like that, you know? So it's like, oh,
Mhm.
so it's kind of like it's a sub game, and then what was the Gotham Knights, it's like, well, technically that's in the Arkham universe, just doesn't have, so yeah, I don't know. I was totally with you when
Yeah.
you originally talked to me about this and said the four, and I'm like,
D4.
absolutely.
Oh, you knew it.
Yeah.
Um I played Arkham Knights, or Gotham Knights. Pretty good. I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't
Okay.
I, I didn't hate it. But anyway.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Number two, and I'm
Oof.
curious on if you and I will overlap on number two. Um, my number two is Arkham Origins.
Ooh.
It is it was one that I was really excited about, and because like I'd already admitted of when it comes to like gaming and stuff, I'm not, I know, aficionado or anything with it. And so I could instantly see leading up to it that there were people that weren't excited for it because it didn't say Rocksteady.
Mhm.
It was WB Montreal or WB Games Montreal or something like that. So it's like, so they're hijacking the Arkham name and it's blah blah blah, and it's not Kevin Conroy voicing Batman. I don't know, because Joker was a surprise in that one, but yet I don't remember if he was in any promotional stuff for it or not.
Not till after, cuz then I remember
Okay.
like posters, like they had them, like you can
Okay.
see. Yeah.
But no, well, they had to be, because there was the Arkham, or like, I don't remember, but because they had an Arkham Origins like mega like set collector's edition.
Oh.
And it came with Joker, yeah, and so I never bought big big stuff, for games, like
Mhm.
massive packs. And so it's like the Batman Arkham Origins Collector's Edition, and it came with,
Oh.
uh, it came with like wanted posters of the assassins. It came with a book of like speaking to Jeff Johns and like creators of WB Montreal. It came with like all sorts of fun trinkets, but the big thing was Joker at a desk with like a knife in the desk or the table and a bunch of monitors behind him.
That is
And you put
wild.
in batteries and that lit up behind him. And so I was like, I never do this. This is an Arkham game. At that point, I was like, this could be the last Arkham game that they make. Yeah. So I went all out for that. And fun side story was, uh, I worked second shift at that time, and I was going to be off work at like 10:30, I think, or so. And my now fiance, then girlfriend, she uh she was home sick. So I ran home after work to, I got her like medicine and some food and stuff and blah blah blah. And I was
What
like,
a
but
guy.
at midnight, GameStop, 'cause I pre-ordered it at GameStop. GameStop is gonna, like, if you get there at midnight, you can get the game, technically, it's like a midnight release and whatever. And so then I went to GameStop, and the lights were dimmed, and I went to go open the door and it was locked. And I was like, no, because then Friday I wasn't supposed to go in until, normal, like, the late afternoon into the evening. But then something had happened to where now I had to go into work early on that Friday. So I wasn't even going to get to play it all night long. But I was like, damn it, I want this. And so I didn't care. I was banging the hell out of the door. And then a guy, he like, he threw his hands up like, "Ugh!" And then he finally came walking
There was
over, and,
someone
and then he
there?
was, yeah, there was
Oh
someone
my
there,
god.
because it was like 12:05, I think.
Yeah.
And he was, and I was like, aren't you doing the midnight release? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, yeah, but it's already over with. So blah, 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 whatever. And I go, I got here as fast as I could, and I thought at 12:05 you'd still be open.
Yeah.
So he finally was like, and I go, I already pre-ordered. It's right back there. I've already paid. And did it. And so then he gave me, he let me in and he got me the game.
For
Got a
the
little
record,
testy.
like the level of commitment to even like I would have given up. I'm like, oh, no one's here. Okay, that's it. See ya. But like,
Mm.
yeah, bang a door a couple of times to see
It's
who's there.
Batman.
The guy
Man,
was
I'll be crazy
frightened.
for Batman.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. He was
And it's a
flustered.
midnight released. Come on.
Yeah, it's 12:05 for crying out loud.
What's 5 minutes?
Um, but anyways, so the game itself, um, love the game, and I think there's a reason that this one and the next one I rank higher is because of the expansion.
Yes.
Uh, I love that Arkham Asylum takes place on an island and it's so playable. And granted, and for its credit, like, Arkham Origins, I haven't played as many times as I have Asylum, and it's harder to play Origins now because, PS4s aren't backwards compatible. Arkham
Hmm.
Origins was not released on the Switch, and so it's like my PS3 is in the bedroom, where it's like it's a Blu-ray machine if we have to use, like, if we watch a disc.
Yeah.
But we're not, like, usually if it's in the bedroom, we're sleeping.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's like I don't get to replay it as much as I want to, but the game is like nighttime, Christmas Eve, snow in Gotham, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just awesome. It's
Yeah.
so lovely. And then the score for it by Christopher Drake is awesome. And then I always say of the Joker reveal is my favorite moment of any of the Arkham games.
You've said
Totally works.
everything. I'm like, yep, yep. And the score,
Yeah.
like, which you've mentioned multiple times on your podcast. You've check out the Batman Book Club.
Oh,
He
yes.
even during the Christmas episodes, you
You
even
picked up on that.
I did. You got
Yeah.
highlight Arkham
Every year.
Origins. Yeah, so good. What a
Carol of the
great
Bells. I
soundtrack.
play that one every time. Yeah, I love it. And it's an annual thing in December to make a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, and include Christopher Drake about, like, time for my Christmas listening, and it's Batman Returns and Arkham Origins, and he usually always he'll always at least like it, and then, just something of like thanks or something like that, whatever. Um, but man, like, all these ingredients, and I love it, and I do understand that the other games do grab the big notable villains,
Hmm.
and so there is, there's Deathstroke, which, yeah, like, we in the nerd realm can say that Deathstroke's like a big character, but it's like to the general public, he's not.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, the other games, and then we did get like a surprise of having Bane in here, and he's a different, an earlier version of Bane, which is what I thought was really cool.
yeah,
Battle against Deathstroke is like my least favorite fight in all the Arkham games because it's
yeah,
so tough. But then, then there's Copperhead, and I'm kind of missing on some of the others. But then Black Mask being the villain's like awesome. That's cool.
yeah.
He's nodded to in the other games, and then I'm pretty sure they don't do it but in the like in Arkham Asylum, the Scarecrow parts they do. In Arkham Origins, something with Mad Hatter though. I believe, right?
Yes.
And I love that, like that's how they include Mad Hatter.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the whole compare and contrast as well of like, oh yeah, this layout's so familiar to the previous game, but it's also different because it's supposed to take place earlier, and like all this stuff. And so specifics of the game are a little fuzzy because it's been a while since I've played it. But like what I've mentioned, it's like that's what stands out to me with Arkham Origins. And I wouldn't argue with strangers online, but I'd really be like, I don't understand why you don't like this game.
Yeah.
I think this is a great game, and the button controls were different too, in which I don't know, every game has different buttons, so
Yeah.
that wasn't really a big deal to me either.
No,
Um, I love Origins, love Origins.
I love it. It's so good. And the expansions, like even the downloadable content, bomb. I
Yeah.
loved it. Like Heart
Hmm.
of Ice. You know, I never played though. Was the actual Origins where it's like, wasn't it just like your Bruce Wayne was the playable character? It's almost like it kind of felt like Batman
I didn't
Begins.
play that one either.
Oh no,
No, I had to look it up on YouTube, I think, to
to
see how it
watch.
played out because they stopped because there was something with maybe I didn't have internet and so I couldn't get it, and then they stopped doing the support for PS3 and or
Son of
something
a
like that. So I
bitch.
never got to get it. Yeah, I know, right? And so I never got to play that one. So I had to look it up on YouTube. Now you're at Wayne Manor and you're Bruce and you're
Yeah.
doing Mr. Freeze comes or something.
Oh, the Heart of Ice one.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got that one. That was incredible. Like
Okay.
that.
What's the one that you're talking about then?
Wasn't there one where it's like Bruce Wayne, but it's kind of like I just think of Batman Begins, where it almost looks like Bruce Wayne shaved head, and
Hmm.
it's just him slowly. I guess he's like in training. I gotta search it because I
Oh,
never
okay.
got to play it, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like you can't have access to it anymore.
I I should note also that I think this is my favorite bat suit of all the Arkham games too.
Me too.
I really like the suit on this one, and I got this figure as soon as it came out, and it's still in the packaging because
Oh,
it's worth more if it's in its package.
of course it is.
Uh,
I don't open any of mine.
no,
Sue me.
it's not for that reason. For me, it's like I've told Pete this because Pete is a toy collector, and he knows how to pose them and everything. I'm like, I can never get him to look cool out of the package, so I
Yeah, I
just leave
can't.
him in the package because it looks good in the package. It's not so that it's a collector's item and I'm going to save up enough for retirement. No, that's not it.
You know who makes him look cool is Bill. Like Bill Jet Ramey. Like that collect the
Mhm.
guy, the way he has everything displayed is fantastic. Like the dusting, like to dust that room must be very difficult, but like
Yeah.
it looks so good. The expansions, what the heck? Where are they? Anyway, as I'm searching here. My number 2 is I'm gonna say Arkham Asylum. And there's nothing wrong with the game, nothing at all.
Hmm.
I actually love it. Like this is why it's like I said to you, it's like choosing a favorite child. Like
Yeah.
I remember the demo coming out. I remember that trailer coming out. The setting was something I'm like, I wish that they would make a movie that looks just like this. That's how much I love Arkham Asylum, that game. The way that they had Joker kind of just take over the asylum, how we had to kind of search for Jim Gordon, the chase, and then you have
Hmm.
Kevin Conroy as Batman. Like I was just like, what? Like this is my childhood. And then you're hearing Mark Hamill reprise his role as Joker. You're like, this is like a dream come true. And then you have Harley Quinn as part of it.
Yeah.
Um, my nitpick was one, Bane looked just really odd, and two, I did not like that final boss fight with Joker. That was it. But
Yeah.
the
I'm with you
east,
on that.
like little things like you had to collect the Riddler trophies, the way you had to like navigate yourself around the asylum, like the way it looked, the way it felt, the small little noises, the tapes, like those oh, was it the inmate tapes or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Those are cool and creepy.
And then what was the one? Was it a Chronicle? No, Gotham Chronicles or something like that, where it had that bug. Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting? I'm having a brain fart. Um, But yeah, and
Where it
while
had the what?
it had like it was you would scan. It looked like a tombstone, and they'd give you
Oh
like
yeah, yeah. And it was
mm,
the Arkham, and then whatever
yeah.
Arkham Asylum.
Oh man, you got the voice down pat.
Amadeus is like a
A legend.
history lesson or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, those were
excellent.
cool and creepy as well.
So creepy.
Uh, so you're saying things, and it's reminding me of I always liked the Killer Croc portion
Yeah.
because that was pretty creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't even mention that Paul Dini wrote this one, and he's such a master in the Batman world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then they had to have known how good it was going because of those Easter eggs and the
Yeah.
Easter egg of being of like Arkham City's coming.
Oh
And then
yeah.
not long after the release of Arkham Asylum, they already had a teaser trailer for Arkham City.
Wasn't that wild?
I don't, do you remember that?
Yeah.
The
Like I was
teaser
just like,
spot for,
what? There's
yeah.
another game? What? This one
Yeah.
just
It
came
was
out.
like, oh my gosh, how? This just came out. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And it
Of
wasn't
course,
like
I
you
was
can
thrilled.
just like because it came out for PS3. It wasn't like you can just like constantly find patches, like not like today, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that Easter egg where like they had an Arkham City map and no one
Hmm.
found, I think it was a year after where they're finally like, okay, there's one Easter egg no one found. And they had to tell everyone how to find it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so cool.
but the story was phenomenal. I loved it. Even just like the way they incorporated even the smaller characters, like was it Quincy Sharp?
Yep.
Like it was like those little things that I just enjoy. We got that small taste of the Batmobile, even
Hmm.
though we didn't get to drive it. It's okay. But yeah, like, and it was just creepy. Like I remember playing that game at nighttime, lights off, and it was just unsettling. Like it was even
Hmm.
the sounds of it, like the small little dung 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 dung.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
really feel like you're somewhere different. But
And then when you're outside and you have those guys and you don't even know which one, it's like, "Wah!"
yeah,
And then they come running, and sometimes you don't even see, and then out of nowhere they jump on you, and you're like, oh, God, oh, okay, jeez.
and I honestly believe that game was made ahead of its time. That's just me. Like
Hmm.
little things, like the story and how they thought things out. Like that was that was the game that was a stepping stone. Like I feel like without this game there would not be, well, maybe there would be, maybe, I don't know. I just say like Spider-Man 1 and 2 that came out for the PlayStation is like that combat system was so good, but that's all thanks to when you look at something like Arkham Asylum. I feel like that
Yeah,
had a huge influence. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Spider-Man's Arkham were
Yes,
those games. And then I say, uh, said it to Pete, I think I said it to Bill, of the Batman Begins game walked so Arkham could run.
you're right.
That I do feel like, because the Batman Begins game I think was awesome.
Yeah,
And it's like, wow, they did a movie tie-in game that's really, really good.
yeah.
And then you like there's you could do see some similarities where it's like this had to have inspired them for Arkham Asylum.
Oh, 1,000%. Like it had
Yeah.
to. And I know that they were supposed to make a Dark Knight game, but then they were like, no, we're gonna go
And
and
it
make
didn't
this.
happen.
Yeah, it didn't
And because,
happen.
and because it didn't happen, it's really easy for everybody to just imagine what the game could have been. So they'd be like, what a shame. And blah, blah, blah. It's like they also don't just get rid of profit.
No.
It's like, I know this is going to make a ton of money, but let's scrap it anyway. It's like, no, if it's going to make money, then we're going to push it forward.
Yeah.
So there's, who knows, something what just wasn't working with that one.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know all the specifics.
Uh, are you ready for number one?
I think I figured it out.
Oh, here we go. So, why is Arkham Asylum? I mean, it doesn't even need
Arkham
an
City.
explanation. Arkham City, sorry.
Yeah.
Number one.
I think it's because similar to it's like when you think of movies as well, it's kind of like when you're like, this is how you do a sequel. And
Yes.
so I'm instantly thinking of The Dark Knight and Spider-Man 2 of like, this is how you do a sequel. Because it's like it's almost like you did everything great about the first one and somehow you expanded and made it just as good the next go around. And I think that's what for me, that's what Arkham City did. That was one that I bought as soon as it came out, and I remember my Halloween that year was me all day just playing Arkham City. It was like 12 hours of just playing Arkham City.
Did you go
Loved
line up?
it.
And
No,
because I remember we
I
had the midnight lights
didn't.
for that one too.
No, I didn't for that one. Um, I kind of don't remember when I would have had to have gotten it like right when it came out, and it came out I think it's like October 18th or something.
Hmm.
So it was almost two, like 10 days, little almost 2 weeks that I had it. And yeah, and Halloween, I hadn't beat it yet by Halloween, but that's because there was a lot going on. Um, and I just kept playing it, and I was just like I was totally immersed in that game. I thought there were really fun surprises, and um really leaning into like all of the characters that they didn't get to in the first one,
That's a
and
good point.
then returning, the Joker returns from the first one, but it's the story continues with him. Um, and then, creating the whole Wonder City, the city below Gotham. I thought that had some cool stuff. And
Oh my
it's like
god, I completely
this
forgot about that.
the story in such a way that it's like you've got, and then other times too, like some of those where you can play as Catwoman, which was different and
Yeah,
fun. But it's like the game included Two-Face and Penguin and Clayface and Solomon Grundy and Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul and Hugo Strange and
yeah,
Harley Quinn and the Joker, and it all worked and made sense. It
yeah.
wasn't, we got to put everything in here just because. And even like doubled down on the Easter eggs from the first game, and the calendar man thing, and how go see him on every time it's a holiday and he'll say something. That was such a cool, fun, dorky thing to do.
But, like,
Um,
how do they think of that? You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, like,
yeah,
what a nice little detail. Like, and I'm like, you want that team to just stick together because you're like, if you guys can think of this, like, those are
yeah.
such small details, but it goes a long way for
Yes,
fans
exactly.
like us.
It's great phrasing. Yeah, such small details that go such a long way,
Yeah.
and are things that you end up remembering. And I think City's the one in the museum, right? Like the museum stands out
Hmm.
to me. Opening up in the courthouse with Two-Face stands out to me as being really fun.
Yeah.
Um, the Easter egg of the pregnancy test that Harley has, and it's positive. Like that's a fun little Easter egg.
Love it.
Uh, yeah, like like that game was just so much, because I thought that Hugo Strange, it was so built that he was, and that was a good interpretation of Hugo Strange.
Yeah, it was really good.
And I forget who voiced him, and had such great like command in his speaking, and the whole story is awesome. And I remember like beating him, and his tower explodes, and I thought like, oh, okay, the game's done.
Yeah, no.
It's not done.
No.
And then you end up in Crime Alley, and you end up at the theater, and then you'd alluded to it, talking about it in your spot, and how Batman comes out and he's holding Joker and he's done, and that was such a just like, no way, but I'm looking at the Joker and he is dead.
Yeah.
And it's in a way of like, okay, this universe, it's solidified the Arkham universe just that game, I think, alone. And as many people try, uh it, like there aren't so many universes in the Batman universe,
Yeah,
like
no.
you got to really be something special, um to have your own segment in the Batman world, and Arkham definitely has one. I think Arkham City is a huge reason for that.
Oh man, like they can like, people pluck comics. I mean, like
Hmm.
the GOAT Long Halloween is like
Oh
something
yeah.
that's just constantly plucked at. But like you could easily look at this video game universe, the Arkhamverse, and pluck from there just as
Yeah.
much, right? Like, I mean, I know that they used a lot of resources from the comics and incorporate into the story.
Hmm.
Even like small little Easter eggs, including Hush, was in there,
Yeah.
and it's just or the small like where like the boxes of still know that um Scarecrow is still part of it. Like I think I forget which room, but there's a room that you can go in, and there's all of Scarecrow's fear toxin if you
Mm.
go, and it's like just those small little details, and the
Yeah.
ending where like you're fighting, like the twist where it's like, okay, Joker looks fine, but then all of a sudden it turns into Clayface. Oh
Hmm.
man, okay, so he really is sick. Like I didn't know what to
Yeah.
expect, right? Oh man. um Arkham Origins, I've ranked as number one, and
Hmm.
this is where I was constantly
I'm not
flipping.
mad.
N- I love it, and it's every reason
Hmm.
that you mentioned, and it goes as simple as the score. The score is something I replay constantly from basically November on, mainly December. But
Yeah.
and you got the sequences, especially like you have Black Mask as the main villain for the most part. The detective, like they kind of changed things up when it came to the detective style, replaying exactly like the murders that happened. But the sequences, I thought that the story was probably the best out of all four games. That's just me.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
thought that the part with the Joker, you mentioned, like Joker had like a little story about him and how he came to be, and it was just like
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
monologue.
Yeah.
And then
The comedian, because in that little bit you even played as him.
yeah,
And
and
so
then
yeah, you
you're
got the
walking through
stand-up
with the Red Hood.
comedian angle, which is cool. Yeah, and the Red
Yeah,
Hood, like Killing Joke, not all that was really cool.
yeah, and then even like I remember where they're going through a building and then they're going down, and I'm like, oh man, it's like Batman and Joker, and like what happens? And then there's the ending where they're in the chapel, if I'm not mistaken,
Hmm.
and Batman's beating him to a pulp. But then there's even like a little monologue between both of them, or not monologue, sorry, little. There's a lot of action sequence between both of them. But then I think it just kind of goes into a screen where you're just kind of watching them speak, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. And it just captivated me. I'm like, this game was so good. But something that I feel like I must mention was how
Hmm.
Bane was portrayed. Probably by far was the best out of all four games. I really enjoyed him as a villain in this game. The way he looked, how difficult he was, even the boss fight. Like the boss fights in this game were probably the best for me. And then even the downloadable content, I truly enjoyed. I'm just kind of, let me see here.
Yeah.
Like I know that the heart or cold heart. I said cold heart of ice, but it's cold heart was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
They even had like the skins. They weren't the greatest, right? But they did have Batman Long Halloween, Thrill Killer, Earth 2, and then Dark Knight. What else? They even had like New 52, Noel. Not too bad, like in terms of skins, but man, I'm trying to find that downloadable thing that they had, but for some reason I can't find it. Anyway, but yeah, so
Gosh, I'm
that
just trying to
was
think.
I had a lot of fun playing that game, and it's like you're right because it's only really restricted to PlayStation 3, or if you have an Xbox, you can kind of play it
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I should have
even.
said that too of Xbox, but Xbox was is backwards compatible. I
Yeah.
think on maybe their latest system is or something. I don't know
Hmm.
because I think Pete has played Origins semi recently on a an Xbox, and I was jealous.
Oh man,
But
and
I
like
mean,
every Christmas,
I've got my game machine like in the bedroom. I just need to go and pop a chair in front of the TV and just
it's a little bit more difficult. You know what I mean? I mean, I feel
yeah.
like am I going to sit on a bed? No, you should probably get a chair and then yeah.
I'm not a
But
teenager anymore. Like my back can't support that.
excuse me, man, man. But like it's here. I'm thinking it's like yeah, my back support. I'm like right now. I'm like in my head. I'm saying this chair. It's old.
Yeah.
It's so uncomfortable. I'm like, man, my back feels uncomfortable. As you're saying that, kind of funny.
Or,
Um,
or,
But yeah, I don't know. And I bet you Origins, like that might slip down to number three. But personally, I think I loved even like the way Roger Craig
Mhm.
Smith and oh my gosh, who
Yes.
portrayed
Troy
Joker?
Baker.
Troy Baker. Oh man,
Which
both of them
yes,
are so good.
he was kind of, doing his in a way his Mark Hamill impression, but they never bothered me because it's like, well, this is supposed to be a younger Mark Hamill Joker,
Exactly.
So it totally worked for me.
Yeah,
And and he was closer to sounding like Mark Hamill than Roger Craig Smith was as Kevin Conroy, but that still worked for me as well,
hundred
you know?
percent. Um, before I let you go, there was
Hmm.
one. Let me ask you. I have a couple questions.
Sure. 'Cause I have one for
Uh,
you too that I totally forgot about.
Oh, here we go. Do you have a favorite Easter egg within the Arkhamverse? Or if you have two.
Ooh, that's a good one. Because now I'm trying to cycle through all the Easter eggs.
There's a lot, man. It's hard. You'll probably look at them. You're like, "Ah,
Yeah,
I should have said this."
because much like back in the day. Okay, the fresh one that comes into my mind is Batman Forever, and Gordon says the circus must be halfway to Metropolis by now. And
Oh,
your
that's a
mind
good one.
went there as a kid, where you're like, "Oh, cool, that's where Superman is." Your mind just goes there, and it's fun.
Hmm.
Arkham Asylum villains that weren't in that game, if there was something that made you think about. So Two-Face was one of the Easter eggs. He wasn't in that game, but your
Hmm.
mind had the same kind of fun. Oh, cool! It was a nice shout out to Two-Face,
Yeah,
sort of deal, and your mind can kind of wander. Um, that one was fun. I saw Bane, but Bane's teddy bear, I think, is in Arkham Asylum. Like that's a fun thing. It might have been the tease for Arkham City, to be honest. Out of all of them,
yeah.
now Origins is, it's fuzzy to me to try and remember the Easter eggs. Um, Same thing for Arkham City right now. So there may be others, but I got to go with like what I think of right away. And I do think the Arkham City Easter egg was the funnest.
I feel like that's the one that everyone will go back on and be like, I never saw this. Like, there's no way. And you
Yeah,
got to do. Can we just hold on?
I
You guys
didn't.
can't see this, but can we admire the cup that you got? That's got to be a Ninja Turtle
Yeah.
cup. Oh
Oh
man.
no, this is Pizza Planet.
Oh,
It's
pizza.
got
Oh,
the
sorry. I
yeah
was like,
Pizza
oh,
Planet.
I feel like that
Toy
would have been
Story.
a
It's
Ninja.
got the aliens.
Oh, that's wicked because I saw a little bit of green. I'm
This-
like, that's got to be a Ninja Turtle cup. That's
Usually, I
wicked.
mean, lately I've had. I mean, I do. It's just dirty because but I do have a Ninja Turtle one.
Oh, that's
Uh,
totally
my
acceptable.
it's ridiculous. I cannot grow up. Like all my stuff has IP on it of
Yeah,
some sort. Wearing a
that's
Michigan shirt, drinking out of a Toy Story cup. I got Ninja Turtle socks on. Like everything's plastered with IP, but whatever.
that's called personality. So you want to
Yeah, that's
know?
right.
This is what you're getting.
Personality.
There you go. Mine, I actually loved the. You're right. The Arkham City Easter egg is probably best for at least for me. But I like
Mhm.
even like I remember in Origins was one that stood out to me. He's like, you're looking at all these postcards, and I don't know what drew me into like trying to read them. But then I read Andrea Beaumont, like that was one of them, and I'm like, is
Oh
she in the
yeah,
game? Like I thought that
yeah,
was a nice little touch. That's the one that kind of sticks out to me, and I'm partial to it because I love the movie, like The Mask of the Phantasm. So I'm always like,
yeah,
and I don't know who your favorite love interest is for Bruce Wayne, but Andrea Beaumont would be like, there's, you can argue Selena, Silver St. Cloud, but for me, it was Andrea Beaumont. And that's the big influences, obviously, is because I remember watching Mask of the Phantasm over and over. And that's just the one that's like always so fresh. But
yeah,
that to me would be the big Easter egg that
yeah.
I
That's a good
actually
one.
really enjoyed.
That is a good one.
Uh, And then I think that was it. In terms of like questions, I know I have them written down somewhere. Um, but Ryan,
Uh,
you said you
well,
had a
let me
question.
tell you. Yes, Arkham Asylum. Can't believe I forgot about this. Similar to when people read New 52 Batman issue number 5, and you got to a point in that issue where it was upside down, and you thought that it was a printing malfunction.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember having that reaction playing Arkham Asylum, and it seemed like your game just flipped out?
1,000%.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I'm just like, and then you
What?
stand there, you're like, oh, okay, so I just must have shut off. So you're kind of like teased, and you're like, okay, do I just reboot
Yeah.
it? Right? So smart.
Yeah.
Like,
So
talk about how
smart. It's
clever.
just enough time that prevents you from running up and like ejecting the game or whatever. But you just kind of said like, what the hell? Come on. And then it starts and then I think goes to black and then slowly fades back up. And then you see the switch of now Batman's tied up and Joker's walking next to. And then, yeah, it's
Yeah,
like freaking brilliant.
brilliant. I know.
Brilliant.
Those are clearly guys who loved making video games, and clearly
Yeah.
you could tell that they love the whole like Batman. They love Batman. You could tell,
Yeah.
right?
And
Just
it's funny
really
too, like
appreciate.
something like that. And it seems like everybody has the same reaction. You can't just, that doesn't just like happen. But yet, like here you and I are, and we have the same reaction. I talked to
Oh
other
yeah,
like me and Pete, same reaction. Somebody else, same reaction. Like that too is kind of like, oh, cool, well done.
Yeah.
you knew what you were doing, and you did it.
You got us. Same with the
Yeah,
Man
you
Bat.
got us. You got us all.
I remember my question. Um,
Yeah,
Last one. Would you
sure.
make another Arkham video game? And if so, would it be more of like a prequel, like After Origins, or would it be more like After Night? Or would you do something completely different and reboot the whole series?
Fan fan me says yes, and I would want it to be post Origins,
Thank you.
because post Night is still Conroy, and I would know Conroy's not here, so whoever's there is trying to sound like Conroy in a totally different way than Roger Craig Smith was trying to sound a little bit like Conroy.
Yeah,
Um, Conroy, not Conway. So yeah, I think there's definitely also enough time and development between Origins and Asylum that there's, some they could have come up with something.
1,000%.
Uh, I don't think it'll ever happen, but it would have been cool if it would.
Fingers crossed. I don't
What
know.
about you?
Yeah, I'm exactly right there with you. After Origins,
Yeah.
there's a lot of time to play with. I know with Arkham Shadow, they that takes place just after Origins, and even
Okay.
after, like, I could tell you that they kind of open the possibility, the doors open for more games after, which is nice because there's a
Hmm.
lot to play with, right? There's a lot of story, and I like early Batman, so
Yeah.
I'm all for
Yeah.
exploring it. I'm not for like I'm with you because I've heard you mention multiple times on your podcast where I don't like it where the whole world knows who Bruce Wayne is. I don't.
Yeah. I don't
That's
either.
not my jam,
Hmm.
sir. I just
Yeah.
want to say thank you so much
Oh,
for coming on to our show today.
absolutely.
Why don't you plug away and tell the audience where they can find you?
That was a very fast hour.
It
Um,
flew.
So follow my podcast, the Batman Book Club, wherever you listen to podcasts, and follow it on the social medias at the Batman BC. The episode that's out right now is January wrap up episode, where me and the Italian Pete talked about new Batman comics that came out in January. And then my next episode is with Bill. And that'll be
Ooh,
dropping here kind of soon, and that will be talking about the Batman issue 156, which is Robin Dies at Dawn. Which, if the name doesn't sound familiar, I bet the cover sounds familiar. If you're
that
a
was the
Batman comic
tease.
fan,
Sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
That was the tease that you
no,
guys
it's
were
cool.
dropping. Then I think Bill was.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Bill did.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, and that was a fun conversation. It's already been recorded. That was a good conversation.
Right
Which,
on.
which I said in that of like that issue alone, there's a pre Grant Morrison's run, Robin Dies at Dawn, and then post Grant Morrison's run, Robin Dies at Dawn, because Grant Morrison's run gave a lot of nods to old, kind of bizarre Batman comics, and that was definitely one of them. So, yeah, that was a fun conversation. And Dominic, it was a pleasure coming on here to talk to you again
Ryan.
on a great topic.
Oh man, I enjoy it. I had a lot of fun, and I know you guys talked about the video games. So I'm like, why don't they just ask Ryan? Like, it seems like he's played all of them. Thanks for sharing, man. That was awesome. I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on. And yeah, hopefully again we'll go. I just recently I was listening to the your podcast with Pete, and the one
Hmm.
thing that I'm loving that you guys are enjoying is the Batman monthlies, like Batman and Detective Run.
Hmm.
So it seems like it's kind of getting
It's
back on
revived.
track, and it seems like you guys are
Yeah.
having a lot of fun reading them. And then obviously the episodes that you're doing, like I'm constantly listening. So
Well, I
that's the one
appreciate it.
thing where you can pick up and listen to any episode, doesn't matter when, right? So
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
bless you, sir.
thank you. As for me, you can follow on the socials, mainly X/Twitter at Beyond Bad Signal, or you can shoot me an email at beyondthebadsignal@gmail.com for any questions, comments, and rate and review the show as it helps. It goes a long way. Helps spread the word. And with that being said, my name is Dominic Nika with Ryan Lauer, and this is Beyond the Bad Signal. We're signing off.